everyone and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be doing my June and July wrap up. I didn't do a June wrap up because I kind of forgot. So yeah, I didn't really read that much in June. I read quite a lot in July, but not June. That's an interesting story, isn't it? So let's just get into it. The first book I read is F***K Fast Fashion 101, why can't I say that? 101 Ways to Change How You Shop and Help Save the Planet. So basically all this book is about the environment and fashion. That's all you need to know really. Each page has a different kind of tip on how you can help the environment through your fashion. So for example, some are just basic, like go to charity shops, blah blah blah. Others are more informative, like what fabrics to use and stuff, which are better for the environment than others. So like glittery things, plasticky things are not good, but try and look for other things which are, I can't remember, but there we go. Next I read The Hobbit by J.R.R. Tolkien. So okay, so we probably all know the kind of setting of Lord of the Rings, which I think is the best thing about Lord of the Rings, to be honest, and The Hobbit. The thing is, I did kind of enjoy it, but the ending, why is it that the endings in J.R.R. Tolkien books are just so long? Like, okay, it's ended, you feel like it's ended, and then it just goes on and on and on, and I don't care. I still gave it 4 stars because it's still like excellently written. Like the style is very, very good. The characters are very, very good. Another thing I don't like, which is kind of, I guess, a product of its time or whatever, there's so many men in it and hardly any women, and I just find that boring. I don't know. I'm sick of heckin' reading about men, man. So yeah, it was okay. I did enjoy it, but the ending was just boring, and I was just like, I don't care. Yeah, hate me if you want. Next, I read Sweet Duck by Savannah Brown. This is, I just need to have a sip of my water. This is a poetry collection by Savannah Brown. I mean, that cover. Beautiful, beautiful cover. This is her second poetry collection. I haven't read her first one. And I did really enjoy this. There's lots of things I can relate to, so there's a lot of descriptions of like suburban worlds, which I've lived in suburbia my whole heckin' life. I am sick of it, thank you very much. Lots of existential things as well, lots of, I don't know man, lots of things you can relate to if you're in your early 20s, I feel like. Yeah, it was very nicely written. I love her style. I love her descriptions of things. I'm not being very specific. That's because I'm rubbish at reviewing things. I don't know if you've noticed that yet, but yeah. Next, I read, oh God, such a long title, The Facts in the Case of the Departure of Miss Finch. So this is a graphic novel. That's not helpful at all. This is a graphic novel about Miss Finch. So basically what happens in this is, well, it was originally a short story that's been adapted into a graphic novel it's by Neil Gaiman, Michael Zulli and Todd Klein. I'm not really a big fan of this kind of artwork, to be honest. That was a scary page. It's a bit too dark, I feel like. A bit too dark, I don't know. Anyway, it's about these group of friends who go to this circus, but something happens at the circus which is kind of interesting and magical and wouldn't happen in the real world. So yeah, that was enjoyable. I say it's enjoyable. I don't know, a little bit bored, but I still liked it anyway. It was alright. Next I read, what is this? The Things We Don't See by Savannah Brown. So again, another Savannah Brown book. This is her second novel, I believe. It's about this girl who's kind of a bit obsessed with true crime, especially this crime involving a musician who disappeared in the 80s under mysterious circumstances. So she wants to try and find out what happened. So she goes to the island where she went missing and tries to, investigate what's going on here. But the thing is, she's kind of, what's the saying? She's kind of bringing up all this stuff that the people on the island don't want to talk about, so everyone just kind of hates her in the end, which is kind of funny. It's not funny. Basically, the world around her collapses in on itself, and she's like, oh dear, look what I've done. So yeah, that's all good fun. It was okay, but the plot, I don't know. The plot was kind of a bit strange. Not strange, but in terms of the pacing, like, it was kind of slow to get started and then accelerated more at the end, which I wasn't too angry about, but there were just parts in it that I just wanted to kind of, I don't know, be a bit quicker, like especially the first chapter or so. was very slow, but I don't know. It depends on what you like, I guess. But yeah, it was alright. Next I read, What Is This? Man's Search for Meaning. Don't know why I'm talking like this far. By Viktor E. Frankl. So Viktor E. Frankl was a psychiatrist and psychologist who was sent to a concentration camp in the 1940s. I believe it was Auschwitz. I can't even heck remember. Yeah, it was Auschwitz for a time. And it's sort of part memoir. So the first 2/3 are part memoir of that experience. And the last third is very interesting. It's about his logotherapy, which is something he created. And it's about how to stay positive in a time when, you know, the things around you are not very positive at all. And I thought that was really interesting. Basically, the crux of it is that he's saying you need something to look forward to in the future, something to hope for in the future, which I found really, really interesting. The third Viennese school of something or other. So yeah, I really, really enjoyed especially the last third because I'm interested in that kind of thing. Very harrowing again, but also very, I don't want to say intriguing, but intriguing the way he dealt with that situation. And yeah, very cool. Not cool, that was a complete wrong word. A very interesting read that I would definitely recommend, especially if you're going through a time where you feel like your life is just a bit pointless. Like, yeah, would definitely recommend this. Next I read An Abundance of Katherines by John Green. This is my least favourite John Green book I've ever read. It's about this boy who I can't remember the name of, and basically he's just been out with loads of Katherines in his life, I think like 18 or 19, and he's trying to construct a graph of dumpy and dumper, and who's more likely to dump each other or something. I don't know. I don't heckin' know. He's obsessed with statistics and Katherines, basically. I say obsessed, that's a wrong word. Think of a synonym for obsessed. The thing is, with this book, I was just kind of bored. So it's about him and his friend who go on a kind of holiday thing to go and work. And he meets a girl and a group of kids who are a bit older than themselves. And I don't know, man, I can't even heckin' remember what happened. It was just a bit boring, to be honest. And they say fuggin', not the F word, but Fuggin all the time. It's just, I'm like, oh god, stop saying that, it's really annoying. So yeah, I don't know, kind of annoying and boring. Sorry. Next I read this book, which is The Discomfort of Evening. I really struggle with European languages to pronounce things. I am going to completely trash this, and I do apologise. By Marieke Lucas. How do you pronounce J's in Dutch? I don't know. Rijneveld. I'm sorry, I'm trash, I know I'm trash. This is a book about a 10-year-old girl. It follows a 10-year-old girl, first of all, which I think is really interesting. It's still an adult, like, contemporary literary fiction book. And basically, why do I say basically all the time? Because I'm basic. It follows this girl who I also can't remember the name of. And her brother dies, and it's about how their family deals with that. So they're brought up in rural... Why do I always think rural Dutch? Rural Netherlands. And it's quite a desolate environment, and I just love the mood of this book and the atmosphere. You feel like you are plonked straight into that setting. It's very moody, and it's just very kind of heartbreaking as well, because her parents are just trash. Like, the thing is, they all deal with grief in a different way, and their parents need to deal with it in a better way, because it was just really heartbreaking to see how grief and religion are interconnected in this book. I think it was really, really interesting. So yeah, it was a good book, and kind of very sad, very, very sad. And yeah, that was it. That's the cake. Next, I read The Girl from Aleppo, Nagine's Escape from War to Freedom. So this was another memoir of Nagine, who is a disabled oh my god, I can't speak. A disabled Syrian refugee, and it's about her story of going from Syria to Germany, and she's just such an inspiring young lady to have been through something like that. And right, okay, I don't want to say the wrong thing, because I say the wrong things and I'm like, I'm stupid. But being a Syrian refugee, being able-bodied and being a Syrian refugee is already such a tough thing to be such a, it's, I can't imagine how difficult it must be to flee from your home because of the things that are happening in your country, because you feel unsafe in your country, because you probably will get killed in your country. On top of that, having a disability, which means you can't walk, and having to flee a war-torn country, is just boggles my mind. And to have her perseverance and attitude towards life is just outstanding. And yeah, this memoir was very, again, very harrowing. Oh, I hate using that word because I feel like it's the go-to word, but I don't know. It was just really fascinating as well to see how she deals with that kind of circumstances. And yeah, Najine, heckin' legend. I mean, her braveness, I don't know, man. Yeah, very, very inspiring young lady. Next, I read I'm Thinking of Ending Things by Ian Reid. Oh boy! So, what is this book about? This book was excellent. It's kind of a horror kind of book. Oh my god. Okay, so it's it's about this girl who meets this boy who's kind of a bit creepy, and she keeps on getting these really weird voicemails left on her phone, but it's from the same number as her phone. And it's kind of set in a day as well, which is kind of interesting. I don't normally like books that are set in one day, but this one is an exception. The thing is, I gave this book a 3-star when I finished it, and then I read the reviews, and then that went up to a 4-star, and the more I think of it, I think it would be a 5-star. This is probably the best ending of a book I've ever read, and the cleverest book I've ever read. In terms of fiction anyway, it was just brilliant, and I need to read it again very soon, for reasons you will know if you've read it before. This book is completely different the second time round, and I need to read it. I need to heckin' read it again. Yeah. Top marks, very good. On a completely different note, I read Small Pleasures by Claire Chambers. So this is a book, was it shortlisted for the Women's Prize? Or it was definitely longlisted. So this follows a journalist who was looking into this lady who said she gave birth, but it was a virgin birth. And it's just about looking into that. That's the plot. But the journalist falls in love, and it's about the relationship she has with this family as well. I think it's more character driven than plot driven. It's set in 1950s London, which I quite enjoyed the setting of. And you know what's going to happen in the end. You just know. But I think that's okay, because I still enjoyed it. I still enjoyed getting to know the characters, and the setting. I think I enjoyed the setting the most of all, actually. Why do I always do this? Use my shoulder as a table. But yeah, it was good. I don't know. That's all I've got to say about it, really. If you like character-driven books, you might like that. What did I read next? Next, we're going into summer sprint week books. So the first one I read was No Presents Please by Jane Kakini. This is a short story collection about stories in Mumbai, which I thought it was... I thought it was well done, but I still don't think I'm a short story person. But the stories were very enjoyable. I can't even remember most of them, to be honest. But it was kind of an insight into middle class life in Mumbai. I would have maybe liked a working class story, or more working class stories about Mumbai. I think that would have been interesting to see like different class structures within Mumbai. But yeah, it was still enjoyable nonetheless. I really like Tilted Axis. If you don't know Tilted Axis already, I'd really encourage you to check them out. Oh god, I'm so uncool. But yeah, very good. This could be your favourite book if you like short story collections. I think objectively it is a very good book, but I don't know, I just don't think I like short story collections. Next I read The Old Man of the Moon by Shen Fu. So this is actually a segment of another book which I can't remember the name of. This is about this man and his love for his wife and their relationship. It's just basically about their marriage from marrying to the end of their lives. It's really heckin' sad, actually. I really enjoyed the way it was written, but I don't know. It's just, again, like a short story, and I don't know if I'm into short stories. But if you just like well-written, character-driven, this is actually non-fiction, but character-driven stories, then you might like this as well. If you like grief, well, not if you like grief, if you like stories about grief, you might like that. Next I read Getting Cramp in My Foot. Oh, I didn't read that. The Secret Garden by Frances Hodgson Burnett. Okay, let's talk about the issues in this book first. Why does no one talk about the racism in this book? This is something I've been thinking about recently. If a character says something racist and it's not criticised in the book, like no characters kind of say, hold on, that's racist, what are you saying? Or just, I don't know, that's terrible. But something along those lines, like it's just gone undisputed. Does that make the character racist or the author racist? Because there is a big chunk, well, not a big chunk, there is a segment in this which is very racist, and it just kind of goes... there's no argument against it, if you know what I mean. Oh, God, I'm so unarticulate. But... I found that very uncomfortable to read, especially since, especially since it just went by like it was just a side comment. So yeah, I don't know how I feel about that, because is it the author or is it the character? I don't know. The story itself, I think I really enjoyed. Well, no, I did really enjoy it. It took me away to a spring kind of wonderland. It was one of my favourite films growing up as well, The Secret Garden. It does have disability representation as well. Basically, this character has very severe health anxiety, which I kind of relate to, and it's about him overcoming that as well. And it just, I don't know, man, I just related so much to that psychology aspect to it. But also just the setting is just beautiful, and I just want to heck and live there. Next I read this beautiful book, Aquicorn Cove by Kay O'Neill. Oh, this book is about this young lady who I can't remember the name of, and she goes and visits her auntie. I believe it's her auntie, yes. And basically what happens in this is kind of a magical aspect to it as well. She goes there because there's been lots of storms, and they live on, I think it's New Zealand, they live on like the seaside, and they do fishing. Oh, I wonder what that heckin' was. It was my alarm. They live on the seaside, and there's been a lot of storms and pollution and plastic as well. So they're basically cleaning up their village. But there is the magical aspect to it as well, which I don't really want to talk about because I think that's one of the best things, and I don't want to spoil it. But yeah, you can kind of see from the front the kind of magical things that happen in it. And it's just a beautiful, beautiful story. I heckin' loved it. I love animals. I love the seaside. I love graphic novels. It just has everything I want in a book, to be honest. Easy 5 stars. LGBT QIA plus rep, which was done very well, I thought, as well. It was just beautiful. And I'm looking through it now. Look at those heckin' end pages. There is just not one thing I can criticise, to be honest. I think it's middle grade. It's beautiful. I love it. Thank you. Next, I read another beautiful book, Seance Tea Party. This is a book about a young girl, again, who I can't remember the heckin' name of. I don't know why I can't remember names. So this is a book about a girl who, all of her friends are growing up around her. She's about the age of 10, I believe. And this ghost basically wants to be her friend, who's also the age of around 10, because when she was alive, she died when she was around the same age as the character. And basically, the ghost just wants to be friends with the girl because she, for the same reason the girl wants to be friends with other girls who are quite childish, I guess. They don't want to grow up, they want to play games, they want to have fun. And this is a story, I guess it's sort of like a coming of age story. It follows the girl from about the age of 10 till maybe like 14, I'm not exactly sure. But again, this art style is absolutely beautiful. I love it. It's kind of like pastel-y kind of colours. It's very pure. There's, again, LGBT, QIA plus representation, which I think is also done excellently. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. This must be the most beautiful book I own. Love it. Also at the end, the author, Raymond Ali, gives sort of a overview of how she makes graphic novels, which I think is also really cool, because that's going to inspire the next generation of graphic novelists to create graphic novels. And lastly, for the summer sprint week, I read One Day in the Life of Ivan Denisovich by Alexandra Solzhenitsyn. So this is sort of a Roman à clef, I guess, because this is what happened to, well, not necessarily what happened, but based off of Alexander Solzhenitsyn when he was put into a gulag in Russia. It does exactly what it says on the tin, to be honest. The thing is, with this, it is set in one day, and I don't think it makes a very good fiction book, which sounds kind of mean. It is, again, a very hard-hitting book, but I think it doesn't make a good fiction book. I think as a memoir, kind of like One Day in the... Oh, no, that's this book, duh. Sort of like Man's Search for Meaning. This works very well. They're quite similar books. It's about a man living in a concentration camp. But I feel if you're going to make a fiction book out of it, it needs to be longer and it needs to span more of a time period. I don't know, maybe that's just my heckin' stupid opinion, but it just, as a book, as a plot, as characters, I didn't feel any connection to this. I don't know. I sympathise with the characters, but I didn't like it. I didn't like it as a fiction book. It also won the Nobel Prize for Literature. So, I don't know, someone must have liked it, but I didn't very much. And I did read to be a Gay Man by Will Young. I can't remember where I read it in all of this heckin' chaos. I read that on audiobook, and that was an excellent book. It's about Will Young's gay shame, about what it's like to be outed by the media, and being a public figure whilst also being gay. And it was, again, I don't know, I'm not a gay man, but I learned so much from it, even so it shows how he went to therapy, for example, and he learned instead of self-love, we should be practicing, he practiced self-empathy, which I thought was really helpful for my own mental health. I mean, not so much in terms of sexuality, but in terms of situations that I've been through, which are quite tough. So not only did I enjoy the memoir itself and enjoy Will Young, he's very witty as well, very funny, but I actually learned something that I could apply to my own life as well. So yeah, I really enjoyed this, and I think Will Young is an excellent writer. I don't want to name drop, but I've met him in real life. He's lovely. I met him in that heckin' bookshop I worked in again. I don't know why I met so many people. There is a beautiful doggy walking past. I love you, be my friend. He's absolutely lovely in real life. Yeah. Well, that's the books I read. Am I going to hold these up? Maybe I'll just hold up the best looking ones. Oh no, go on, let's try and hold them all up. We'll try. Okay. Okay, maybe if I come down and use my leg. Okay, that's the end. Hey. Thank you everyone for watching. Why am I in this position? Thank you. Thank you for watching. I hope you liked this. If you did, then cool. You might consider subscribing to my church. Subscribing to my channel if you want. Why do I keep on doing this? I'm just heckin' embarrassing myself. Thank you very much. I need to go because my ankles are in pain. Goodbye.